Welcome to your favorite place. This is your number one channel for all front end web tutorials. So today I'll be doing another latest challenge that is called the multi-step form from front end mentor. So, but this is not an easy challenge as you might know. It's an intermediate challenge. So if you are not familiar with HTML and CSS, I urge you to start off with the beginner challenges before you dive into this intermediate challenge, because there is a lot of JavaScript work that you shall be doing. But don't worry, I'll make it simple for you so that you understand what is going on. So please go ahead and subscribe and press on the notification bar. So to have an outlook expectation for a challenge, there you can see we have got the to have an expected outlook. There we are expected to have something. We are expected to produce an output product that looks like this one. So for example, if you want to log in, let's say I've entered my name and my email. I'll just use a dummy email address, let's say at yahoo.com. Then for the imagine if you type in the wrong numbers, like as you can see, it will give you an error that the phone number must contain numbers. Let me look at an identical. Okay, then let's go on to our email and let's leave it like this, and let's say next. There you can say this is not an invalid email address, but if you do it like this, you have entered your valid email. All details are correct. Then you can move on to the next step, and there's an alternative to move to yearly, and this one, let's say we've selected this one, then we say next step. If you click on go back, you can still go backwards, but if you proceed, and then let's say we want pick a zone, I'll choose number 2, the middle one, and then there you can see all the details have been captured, and then just press confirm and you receive a thank you message. So that is all that we want to do in this challenge, but it's not gonna be an easy challenge. So like I said, it's an intermediate challenge, but I'm going to do my best to simplify it for you. So to start off here, I've got a boilerplate template. Okay, I opened the wrong folder. Let's reopen it. Let me reopen it. Yeah, inside this folder, this is the boilerplate that I have. As you can see, I've installed font awesome and some link to our style file, our CSS filing on line 28 and 29. So let's move on to the next step, which is on creating a first div. I'll call it container. Then I'm also going to add another ID with the same name as the container. Just copy and paste it there. Now let's have a div for display setup. This is just a div to display to display our steps. Okay, as you can see on the design, to the left side, I've got some steps. So this is the div that I'm trying to create. And now let's have another ID, which with the same class name, with the same as part of the class name, just paste it there. Then let's call it ID. Then let's declare a div for a circle. Now let's have, as you can see, I've got 4 circles, one with the inner numbers 4. So I'm going to have to declare div dot, I'll call it circle 1. ID. Then let's have some paragraph text. Okay, now let us copy to duplicate it 4 times. Then of course I might need to out these figures because they have to correspond to the circle, different circles. Let me just have 3 sorry, this is 4 and this one will be 4. So the inner text is 1, inner paragraph 2, 3, 4. We are done with that one. Then let's create another div for which I shall call steps div dot steps. Then to start off, I'm going to have a div which I shall call class name. Let me call it step 1. Then as you can see, I've got this text, so I need to display this text. So to do that, I'm going to use paragraph text as well as the span. So let's start off by dragging. Okay, before I drag, I want to make sure that I've duplicated this div class step 1 4 times. So let's copy it, and then this 2 twice. Then let's have it, and now it's time to drag the text to where it should go. Okay, step 1 like this. Then let's drag this text. We are done. Let's go on to step 2. Select blank. Then it's on. For okay, so this I've copied the text to the extreme left side of the div, but let me have a look at how my everything looks inside my browser. So this is it. This is the text that I've copied. So now let's continue styling. Okay, this one is a div. Let's come here and let's out this one. So you say div. So after that one, then I'm going to open another div which I shall call dot step container. Then I'm also want to have another div which I shall call an ID name. I want to create an ID with the same name as that of the class name. So to do that, I'm just simply changing there to ID. Then after that, we come here to create the first div inside this new div which I shall call a page step. I'll call it a page step. So So let me start off by creating another div inside, which I shall call step info. ID. Now is the time to create H1 tags. I need to collect the personal information. Okay, because here I'm creating this one. Like, let me reload. I'm creating this page that you can see. This page, this is the page that we are creating. So I'm going to put this inside text. Then after that we get break paragraph text. Let me give it a class name of description. These are paragraph text, so let's save the text that will go inside. Now after that I'm going to create a, remember, every time when let's say you enter this one, you see this cannot contain, this is an error message that appears, this is an error message that appears, so I need some divs for these error messages. So this is what we're going to be doing. Let's create a div for error message. Let me call it flex error. Okay, so paragraph text for name, like you can see there is a name there, so I need those paragraph tags. So to do that I'm going to copy this one, then I'll place it there. Then after that one, let's have a span which I shall call error name. This is where the text for the that will pop up when you enter the wrong details will be. So I don't need, because I'll be using JavaScript for this one, so I need an ID. Let me like this here, like this one. So that's it. So after that one, let's have an input field for our text, the text that you see there. So we need an input field. Input, let me input input. Okay, this is the input field that I want, but I want to give it some very important values. So for the input file type, let's call it text. In name, let's give it an ID. I'll call it the ID, I'll call it info name. Then the placeholder text. Placeholder. This is the text that I want. This is the text that I want, so I just have to come and place it there. Then we are done with this one. Now after we're done with input, let's go on to the email address. So for the email address, I need to have a flex error, this div class that we want. Remember, this will appear if there's an error, but I'm going to change the contents because this is an email address, not a name. open the page. Okay, if I space it like this and so that there appears to be a good space. So after that we are done, we are now going to have to input for the email address. So if I copy, if I input, yeah, for the email address, then let me just space in this text so that it appears well. So type, this is the type of an email. So let's have text, then let's have an ID, info, mail, placeholder, then after that when we are done, let's have a, then the last div is for the if there's a case, in case there's an error in putting the phone number. So this is one that we're going to be doing. Let's cut this text. This is text that will appear there. Then error num. Then the input field for the phone number is what we want to create next. ID. We are going to be having an ID. I'll call it info number. Info number. So this is the text that will appear. Then the placeholder text. This is the format that we want for the placeholder text. So this is the text that goes there. After I've done with that one, you can see from our design, there's a button next step. So this is what I want to create, a button for the next step. So I just have to come inside below the number, below this closing. I'm going to have a D for the button text. So I need to give it a class name. I'll call it button container step 1. Button. Okay, so on click, so we want the function on click. On click, there's a function that is going to be triggered. So the name of the function that is going to be triggered is called go step 2. This is the function that is going to be triggered on click. Then let's give our button a class name. I'll call it next step. Then we go on to, let's drag the text that is supposed to go there inside the button text. So now I'm going to have a look at how the design now looks like inside our, there you can see this is the HTML for the first step. So now we're going on the select button. So to go to view the select button, I used to let me just say Ivan, yes, and email address, let's say stepping for. This is just an example of an email address. Then after entering the phone number, we are taken to this page. This is step number 2. So this is step number 2 that I'm going to be inserting the HTML. So for the step number 2, inserting the HTML, okay, so let me close some divs here to make my work look simple. Okay, to make my work look simple, I need to close some divs. So close some divs so that okay, if I do this, my divs, they have to look smart. Everything has to look smart. And after this div, I want everything to look smart. So if I step in like this, yeah, like this one. Now we are going on to the next step, which is on select plan. So for me to, I have to close this one. Okay. Now let's open the select plan. Select plan. Yeah, we've closed this one. Now let's go on select plan. Okay, I'll start off with creating another div which I shall call step plan. Sorry, like this. Let's give it a step plan. Then so for the step plan, let me look. As you can see, there's a header, so I need h1 text. Select your plan. This is the text that I want. Then after that one, then I'm going to have a paragraph which I shall call description. Okay, for my step today, I'm going to use a description that looks like this one. Yeah. Then for the select description, I'm going to have to check this text, that this is text that shall appear there. Now let's create a div to wrap up everything that is here. So let's create a div that will wrap up everything. I'll have to call it plan month, and let me give it a second class name called ID. It is not second class name. I need a second ID, which is this one, which I shall call ID plan month again. So let me start off by pushing for a button. Okay, the button, I need a button. Okay, so button, I will call it class name plan button. Okay. ID. I need to give it an ID which I shall call Moise Arcade. Then on click, I will have to call it get price one. This is the function that will be triggered every time when we click. So now I'm going to insert an image inside the button. Image. Let's have the image inside the image folder, and the image name will be called icon arcade. It's in the format of an SVG. Then in case the image does not load, I don't want to be displayed anything. Let me have a look at how everything now looks like inside our new design. Or there you can see this image, it matches up to this image. So let's go on to put in some, let me go on to put in some, replicate this pattern, because there are about three patterns. So I want to replicate everything. So to replicate everything, before I do that, okay, I need also to consider that there is text arcade in this one, so it's gonna be inside the pattern. So I have to call it paragraph text. Then I'll create a span which I shall call price month. Then also I'm going to be having an ID. Let's just copy this first name and place it there. So since there are three, there are three, so I have to now to duplicate this one 3 times. 2, 3. So for the second pattern, I need to change the name of the class, so that the name of the class can be, the name of the image. We are going to change the name of the image. This image, we'll call it icon dot advanced dot is an SVG format. Then let me paste the text that is appropriate for the second pattern. This is the text that will go here. Then let's collect the price. This is the price will also go here. Then for the third one, let me have the image. It's going to be called icon pro dot svg. So let's have the text that will go inside the contents. We have got the paragraph with the text, inner text pro. Then we also have got the charges, which our price plan, which are also got there. So after I've done with this one, let's have a look at our new design, how it now looks. Oh, there you can see. So this is all that is to do with. Before I go, okay, if I look at there's also this button which can be outed at every time when you out through. You can see that this statement says 2 months free, 2 months free. So I need to create this text. Inside the last div for the class plan, so inside the closing div for the class name plan month, I'm going to create another new div which I shall call plan month and plan year id year. So let's create div shall call plan month class name, then a different id name which I shall call plan year. Okay, so there you can see, if you look at the text, there's this text that appears like 2 months free, 2 months free every time when I click on yearly. So I need those texts inside the HTML. So as well as if you look at the pricing, the price changes every time when you click on price changes. So I'm just going to insert the HTML coding. Okay, so I'll start off with a button with a class name plan button. Now let's look at the text that shall fit in inside this button. I'm going to have an ID called Ani Arcade on click price for. This is the function that will be triggered every time when we click through the button. So I'm now going to have the contents of the button. So let's start off by an image inside the image folder. Arcades.svg out text, I want nothing. Then let me have a paragraph which I shall call. Then I'm also going to have a span, which I shall call price year. Then let me have a label which I shall call class name free. So once we're done with this, let's come inside our, I want to duplicate this three times. Yes, three times. So copy, second, yeah, like this one. So let's now copy the text that is supposed to go where it's supposed to go. The first one, the paragraph, I'll call it arcade. Then the price per year, I'll call it $90 per year. Then label free, I'll call it two months free. Then let's go on for the second one. Play button at any, the class name I'm going to change it to advanced. Then also the image, I'm going to change it to advanced.svg. Then the paragraph text that will appear for the text is called advanced. Then price per year, is going to be $120 per year. Two months free. Okay. On click, I want the class name, the price, the on click button should be 5, like this one. Then here, the on click button will be 6. Then let's change the image to pro dot is an svg format. Then the paragraph, I want the text pro. Then the price yearly, let's give it $150 per year. Then label class 2 months free. Yeah, like this one. So this is the text that I have. Okay, now After button enclosing this div, I'm going to look at the design. I'm going to have to switch, so I need another div for switch. Let's create a div which I shall call switch. And inside switch, I'll start off by creating a class, a monthly, which I shall call monthly. Paragraph monthly. Let's save the text that will fit inside. Then after that, let's save a label which I shall call class name check. Okay, let's have an input. This way, when you are checking and when you are scrolling to this side, I want an input. So this is the most important part. So you need to have to choose. We are going to use input checkbox. It's very important that you are you typing this code correctly, because any errors will be very serious. Give it a class name of switch id. I'll call it checkbox. Then let me have on click. I'm going to call it reset. Then once we are done with this one, let's have a span. Then I'm going to have a paragraph which I shall call yearly. So the text of the paragraph, this is the text. So if I reload my page, let me have a look at how everything now looks like. There you can see we have yearly, but as per our design, once you are done with yearly, if you click, okay, let me select. If I click there, I'm going to go on to the fourth page, which is called pick ads on. So this is the page that we are going to be styling nextly. Okay, let me beautify my design by just closing in some. Okay, okay, yearly. Then when you are done with this one, we need to come here and let's create another div which I shall call, because if you look at this design, like even here there is this go back and this next step, so we need these text to be displayed as well. So we are going to create another new div which I shall call button container step 2, button container step 2. button container on click. Step 1. Then let's on click, it will trigger a function called step 1. This is the what will happen every time when you click through the button. It will trigger a function called step 1, button step 1, and let's give it a class name. I'll call the class name go back. Okay, so let's have the text that is inside this button. This is the text. Then let's have another button, and this is for the forward. So for the forward, I'm going to create on click, it will trigger a function called go to step 3. Then also I need to give it a class name of next step. So we now want this text that will appear inside the button. So once we are done with this step, we can now go on to the next step. This is the page 3 that we want to go after clicking next step. So for me to do this, so now for me to do this, okay, this I'm just commenting out. So that for this, we're now going to the add-on. So for that one, I'll start off by, if you can look, there is an option for add-on. So let's start by creating a div that will wrap up everything. I'll call it div add step add-on. Okay, small letters, div dot step capital letter add. Okay, yeah, like this one. Then let's give it an ID name with the same name is that of a class. Then let's replace this one. Step add-on. Now let's start off with h1 tags. Pick add-on. We're done with this one. Let's create a paragraph which I shall call description. Okay, don't mind about my spelling. English spelling is okay. Now let's have this text that will appear inside the after we're done with this one, let's move on to our okay. I now need to, if I look at my design inside our new design, there you can see we have created an add-on. So let's let's create a div for with id add on moist. If you look at the design, I've got a lot of text that is here, a checkbox, a paragraph, and some text. So this is what I'm going to be adding. So to add this text, we go inside or add on. I'll create another div which I shall call regroup. Then let's start inserting a checkbox and put type is a checkbox. Name, I'll give it add on. ID, let's call it online moist. Then insert the first value to 1. Then after that we are done with this one, let's save a div dot class add on. Then the paragraph class, I'll call it add size. This is the paragraph name. Okay, let's save online service. Okay, before I do this, let me create a span. Then I'll drag the text later, lastly. Okay, but let me wrap this inside. Let's create another div which I shall call add on button. Okay, then I want to drag everything that is inside there. Then once we are done with this grouping, let me create another paragraph. Let's create a paragraph that we shall call bricks. Yeah, that will be it. So now I want to duplicate this 3 times. Let's just copy it. second time, third time. So now just minimize. Let's go to the first one that we did. It's now time to drag in the text that is appropriate. For the paragraph size there, we are going to have to copy this text. Let's cut it and replace it there. Then for the span, cut the text and place it there. Then for the paragraph, text this text and place it there. After you're done with the first one, let's minimize it. Then let's move to the next one. Regroup. Let's change the ID name from the current online to storage value 2. Then let's copy the text that is supposed to go there. This is the text that we are loading. Cut it. Okay. Let's reduce our size. Okay, let's call it size 13. So inside our storage, let's have larger storage. Then the text, span text will be this one. Then the text for the paragraph tricks will be this one. Then we are done with that. Let's move on to the last div. Okay, we are going to have to out the ID name from to customizable then let's change the value to 2. Let's add size, span, then paragraph, once we're done with this text, we have to check and let's look at how it now looks like inside our browser. There you can see we have imported the text that will make it closer to the design. Now I have to like you can see it's per year, so I have to check this is for price per month. Now I need to take the price for year, So to do that, I have to come inside. Okay, I need to close some divs first. Let's close this div, add mouse. Okay, this div, and let's duplicate it because this one is for month and for year. I have to duplicate it. So since this is for the year, now it's just time to just okay. Now it's just time to just add. Let's comment out something that is very important. Year pattern. This is very important. So let me start off by saying div add on class name, we change it there. Then we put on the pattern add, which is correct, regroup. Then let's look at the first one inside this div input checkbox regroup input checkbox type add on, then id online Annie, then the value will be 10. So let me copy this month. This is the online annual. So then let's change the value to 10. Then div class add on correct paragraph add size, then span multiple players. Price, the price will change to $10 per year. Okay, we're done with that one. Then let's move to the next add button, then div class regroup, then the input checkbox id name add on storage id storage per year, not per month. Then the value will be 20. Then we create another div which I shall call add on with the paragraph large add size span extra 1 terabyte for cloud saver, which is okay. Then the paragraph will be now plus 20 savings of $20 per year. Then we move on to the next div, which is the class name is add on button, div class regroup, checkbox type checkbox, then the name will be add on, and the ID name will be customizable customizable annually, like this one. Then the value will change from 2 to 20. We go on to change some on the paragraph with 20 per year. Div class name, I'm creating another div for the pattern step, but I can just copy this one since we have done coding. right at the top there. So I'm just going to copy this class this div for the button, because we have got, as you can see, we've got the back and the next, but I'm just going to copy the code. So to copy this code, let's come inside and let's paste it where it should go. Yeah, we want the patterns to appear here. So it's just button step from 2, we have to say 3. Then we just have to say button on click step. Step 2. Then from this one it will shift to step 4. So we are done with this one. When we are done with this one, we go on to our final page, which says congratulations. So for the div class congratulations, you can now see that to open up, let's come inside our design. There you can see from this design, let's have a look at what we have done. Yes, so if I choose the annual pay year, it will say finish up. You can see this is the text that will appear. So instead of, okay, let's convert this one to just summary. This will give us a summary instead. So now let's set up the div that will give us a summary of what we have done. I'm going to call it div summary. Then first of all, I'm going to create an ID which I shall call step summary. So first of all, we start with h1 tags. Since we've already selected these ones, we can remove them. So let's say finish up. Then let's have a paragraph which we shall call description. I'll call it this paragraph description. So inside the paragraph description, I have to collect this text. This is text that shall appear there. When after that one, let's create another div which I shall call resume. Inside the div resume, I'm going to have to create another div which I shall call container resume. Okay, let's push for the first div, which I shall call resume month. I'll call it resume month. Okay, no, let me call it a div. Then inside I'll give it an ID, which I shall call resume month. Okay, so this is going to give us a summary of, like you see, this is going to give us a summary of everything that we have chosen up. So to get a summary of what we have chosen up, I'm going to have a div which I shall call flex resume. Then flex resume. So inside the flex resume, we are going to start off with the first one. I'm going to, so we have h4 tags. Let's resume this effective h4 tags, and these are the headings. Let's save an ID which I shall call mod resume. I'll call it mod resume. Then I'll have to mod resume. Then let's have a text, choose your plan. This is the text that I want for this h4 text. Choose your plan. Then after choosing your plan, choose a plan, not a plan, yes, a plan. Then after that one, I'm going to have a button. On click, go from, this is going to go from 4 to, on click, every time when you click through, it's going to trigger this button. Change, this is the text that I want. For the change, then let's have a label outside the div label. Then let's say the ID name, price, resume. When we are done with this one, let's break this one to the next line here. one. Div class flex resume. Then let's have I'm going to have a label there. So yeah, so this one, for you have to have a label. So for the label, I'm going to have some values. Then I'm also going to have an ID. This one I shall call online. Online price. Yeah, like this one. Let's save online price, online service. Online service. Then I have to duplicate these ones. Let's say the next class name I want to be larger. Larger storage. Then the ID name, I'm going to change it for label to storage. Then let's create another flex resume div by just copying in the details. Customizable profile. Let's see. Then for the class ID name for the label, I need to change it as well to customizable. Customizable price, so that I've got this one. So I've closed this div. Now let's create another div which I shall call, this one is for the flexi total. Then I'll need an ID for the paragraph. Mod total. Then I need a span which I shall call, yeah, this one's getting complete, but what we are about to is to finish. So I need to create another, which I shall call total price. I'll call it total price. Now after creating a total price, let's create another span. I'll give it a class name of dollar. Let's just put in a signpost, a quick explanation for a. Now, as you can see, we've got the back and the confirm. So I need those two buttons as well. So I'm going to take the same styling here and just come and paste it. So we say this is not step 3, this will be for step 4. So on the first button I have to change the value for the on click. I need it to trigger that to step 3. Then for the forward one, say go to step thank you, go to step, go to go to step thank you. So on click, so but we also want to change this text since we have got the text confirm. Okay, I've got text confirm. So let me change from the next step to confirm. Confirm. Then we are done with this one. Okay, so after we're done with step confirm, let me remove some unnecessary spacing so that my code looks smart. Now I'm going to the thank you section. Thank you. Before I go there, I need to look at my design, coding design. Or there you can see. So now we're going for this section, the last step, which is our displaying thank you. So for us to go through this thank you, we are going to have to let's create a div which I shall call step thank you. Step thank you. Image, let's have an image for the thank you. So inside our /image slash icon. Thank you. This is the image that I have got. Then for the alt text, let's take a look at the image loads. Yes, there is the image. So I want to put in some. I want to put in some H1 tags. H1 tags. Thank you. This is the text that I want. The text is here. So we can remove this one. Then let's have paragraph tags. This is the information for the tags. Then also I'm going to have, thank you. So this is it, but I'm going to have to remove this footer, so no necessary. So let me just make my code look smart. Okay. Okay, so let me just verify that all these closing divs are corresponding. This is the first one, which must correspond to our first div. Yes, it's corresponding wellly. Then the second from last div. The second from last div must correspond to the div class step container. Yes. Then the third from bottom, okay. Just remove this one, step fetch, and place it right there. So this is it. So this is now what we have. So now, thank you Des for watching this. This is the first video which has got everything to do with HTML code. So stay in for the second video, which shall be on the CSS code. So thank you for watching, and press on the notification bell so that you get informed once the second video that I'm working on is on CSS. Thank you very much.